Hello everyone, welcome to my Fusion Technologies. In our previous session, we have seen what is the significance of HCM Experience Design Studio and what are the tasks that can be done using HCM Design Studio in Fusion HCM. And primarily we focused on these two tasks like uploading background images on ESS pages and hiding actions on Spotlight page. In today's session, we will see how to configure the rules using HCM Design Studio and how to make use of these rules and what are the tasks that can be done using these rules and how these rules are useful. This all we will see in the application. So if you see here, so using HCM Design Studio, we can create rules to configure transactions and pages, and we can also hide certain regions and sections on page, and if you we can also hide the attributes on page as per the business requirement. We can restrict the rules based on legal employer name, business unit and role code. However, if you don't want to specify anything, these are not mandatory. Without specifying these also, you can create the rules. Now we will go ahead and see how to create a rule and how that rule will be useful in the application. We'll take a hypothetical business requirement and we'll configure the rule, and then we will see the functionality, and then we'll test it. We'll execute the functionality and then we'll test the results. Okay. Before we see the configuration of HCM Design Studio rules in Fusion application, I would request everyone, please watch this video till the end, and if you find this video is interesting, kindly subscribe to my channel and share it with all your Fusion friends. So, so let's go ahead and see how to create the rule using HCM Design Studio in Fusion application. So before we create the HCM Design Studio, as you already know, first what we have to do, we have to log in into the application as an admin. Once we log into the application, so make sure we have to create a sandbox. When we're creating sandbox, we have to select layer as HCM Design Studio. Once you select it, you have to enter into a sandbox. Once we enter into sandbox, then only we can make use of HCM Design Studio functionality. This is the key point that we have to keep in our mind whenever we want to use the HCM Design Studio. So I'm creating my sandbox. So I'm selecting HCM Experience Design Studio area. I'm just clicking on create sandbox. Once you click on create sandbox, you can give your own name to your sandbox. I'm giving. So once you given the name, just click on create and enter, so that the sandbox will be created and you will be entered into a sandbox. So now we entered into the sandbox. In order to enable the HCM Design Studio, what we have to do, we have to go to the my client groups. Under my client groups, click on show more, search for HCM Design Studio. I'm searching for HCM Design Studio. So this is the one. Click on this one. So this is the icon that is used for HCM Design Studio. Now click on this icon. As soon as you click on the icon, HCM Design Studio page will be appeared. So this is my page. This is HCM Experience Design Studio page. In order to come to this page, if you wanted to enter into this page, what are the steps that we have followed? Every time you have to follow the same step. Now, so in our previous session, we have seen how to upload the background images using HCM Design Studio, and we have also seen how to hide the actions or folders on Spotlight page. Today I'm going to focus on this area. So this is the area where we can create the rule as per our business requirement, and we can hide the sections and attributes on pages based on the role code or legal employer name and business unit. So now let's go ahead and see how to do this Before we see this, let's take a hypothetical business requirement and then we will configure the same into application using HCM Experience Design Studio. My business requirement is when I log in as an employee, I should able to see additional compensation section at my compensation under me. This is the one. So if you go to under me, if you go to person information, if you click on my compensation, compensation page will be appeared. This is the employee compensation page. So as an employee, I should able to see additional compensation section under me here. But when I log in as employee and line manager under my team, if you go and click on my team, so to perform any transactions or actions against your reportees, you have to go to my team. So under my team, I should not able to see my reportees additional compensation section at my compensation under my team. This is the one I'm talking about. So if you click on my compensation and if you select any of your reportees, below you have this section, right, additional compensation section. Now the requirement is if you log in as an employee under me, you should able to see additional compensation details section, but when you log in as employee and line manager, you should not able to see this additional compensation section of your reportees. Typically this section we use to load the bonus details of an employee, to store the bonus details of an employee. This is the place where the bonus details of employee will be stored. Overall, what I would say, employee should not able to, line manager should not able to see his reportees bonus details or additional compensation section. Okay. Now to accomplish this requirement, we are going to use HCM Design Studio. We will see how to configure the rule in order to accomplish this business requirement. Before we configure the rule, let's understand first why we need to use the HCM Design Studio in order to accomplish this requirement. Typically, if you want to hide this section through the personalization using sandbox, if you use the page composer, so you can select the layer as page composer here. You can add one more layer as page composer and you can come over here and then you can hide this section. That can be done. So but the problem of hiding this section using page composer is whenever you try to hide this section using page composer, what will happen the moment you hide this section, automatically if you go and see under me also, the same section will be hidden. So as soon as you hide the section using sandbox using page composer at my team, automatically this area also will be hidden. So if you want, you can test it. Just create a sandbox, select a layer as page composer, go to either this section or under my team or here under me. Just try to hide this section using sandbox. Go to the sandbox properties. Under sandbox properties, select the respective properties that are related to this section and hide it. As soon as you hide them at any place under me or my team, this section will be hidden both areas. But our requirement is employee should able to see this section. But when you log in as an employee and line manager, under me you should able to use you should able to see your additional compensation. But under my team for your reportees you should not able to see. Okay. To accomplish this requirement, now we have to use HCM Experience Design Studio to create. Now let's go ahead and create a rule in order to accomplish our business requirement. So this is the section that you have to use. This is the action. So under the action you will have list of actions. So according to your requirement you have to select the action here. My requirement is I wanted to hide the additional compensation section under my team for my reportees as a line manager. but under me I should be able to see my additional compensation section. So to accomplish this requirement, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use compensation info. So just click on action as a select action as compensation info and then click on add. As soon as you click on add, the compensation info action related page will be appear. This is a page where you have to specify your rule details. So I have given my rule name as hide additional compensation section of report is under my team. Hide description also I have given the same. And then if you want to restrict it only for specific legal employee, this is the place where you have to select. So I'm selecting for all the legal employee. This rule should be effective. And then if you want to select specific business unit for which this rule should be applicable, you can select it here. Now what I'm telling to the system, it should be applicable for all the business unit. And in case if you have any specific rule, that also can be selected here. I'm selecting for all the rules. This should whatever we are going to apply, this should be applicable throughout the enterprise for all the legal employee, for all the business unit, for all the rules. That's what I'm telling here. And so if you look at here, there is another section called page attributes. Select the region. So I'm selecting the region as compensation info. You have two things here: show prior compensation info. I'm selecting compensation info. So this is a place where you have to select. Currently it is showing as visible. Now you have to go and select it as not visible. Whenever you select it as not visible, what will happen? System will check. So this is very important. If you make this additional compensation section as not visible, automatically compensation additional compensation section will be hidden under my team for reportees, but under me it will be available. So this page attributes plays key role, and the action that you've selected, that is very important here, compensation info, and then save it. If you wanted to hide certain other things also, that you can select it here. So but to satisfy our requirement, so I selected only compensation info. Under compensation info I selected additional compensation section as invisible. So this in this area, whenever you are trying to create any rule, action plays a key role. So based on action it will work. So you should know the action, what you should know what action you should select in order to accomplish your business requirement. That is the first thing that we should know. So once we create the rule, just click on done. Let's go ahead and test it now, whether the rule is working as per our business requirement or not. Our business requirement is, when I log in as an employee, I should able to see additional compensation section under my team. In person information, go to compensation, my compensation. This is the area where you can see your compensation and bonus details. So as an employee I should be able to see this section. I'm seeing it now. Since I have line manager access and I have some reports, now I'm going to see under my team whether I should be able to see that section or not. Typically that should be hidden. If it is hidden, then we can say, so our business requirement is fulfilled. If it is not hidden, then the rule that we have configured is not working as expected, or we have to go ahead and choose another action. Now let's go ahead and see. So in order to see the additional compensation section of my report is, I'm going to my team. Under my team, click on compensation. So and then select any person. I'm selecting someone here. Go here. So earlier, if you look at here, this section was below. Here we could able to see additional compensation and it was visible earlier. Now it was hidden. So with this we can say that our rule is working as expected, and our business requirement is satisfied. So this is our business requirement that we have executed now, and then we have seen the test result for this business requirement. Now I'm going a bit ahead on this, and then I'm going to explore a few more actions here. If you look at here, there are so many actions. In case if you wanted to add, if you want to make some fields are mandatory, not mandatory, for specific role or specific legal employer. Whenever you're trying to hire an employee with a specific legal employer, on that legal employer, if you want to make some attributes are not mandatory, for only for specific legal employer or for specific business unit, you have to go and select the respective action here, and this, and then once you click on action type, click on add, and then here you have to select if you wanted to make certain fields are mandatory, or certain fields are not visible, or certain fields are not mandatory, or certain fields are not disabled. If you want to make any option, I mean if you wanted to do anything specific to role or specific to legal employer or specific to country, specific to business unit, you have to specify the create a rule, and then this is a place where you have to select the respect to country or respect to role name or respect to role code and respect to legal employer, so that what will happen once you create a rule, this action, whatever the actions that you made them invisible here, those will be hidden specific to this role. Whoever having this role, for them only it will be hidden, or whichever the legal employee that you selected, for them only those will be hidden. For the rest of the legal employees, those will be enabled only. So similarly, in case if you wanted to make some fields are mandatory, or some fields are mandatory only for specific legislation under my team. So if I go and see under personal details, I could see my personal information like first name, last name, gender information, ethnicity, religion, all these things. In case if you want to make these two fields are visible only for specific country or specific legal employer or specific business unit, if you wanted to make any changes on this page, if you wanted to write any validation on this page, then you have to go here, and then you have to select respect to action code. For person information, you have to use personal details. There is an action that is called personal details. So this is the action type. So you have to select this action and then click on add, so that rule page will be shown up. This is the page where you have to specify your rule name, and then you have to select the respective role code if you want to restrict this rule only for specific role, or if you want to restrict to only specific country. I mean, in case if you want to restrict certain fields to only specific country, for that country alone those should be visible. For the rest of the country, those should be hidden. If you want to write certain condition, then you have to create a in the country you have to select only those countries, and then below you have to select, if you want those to be visible for all the users, you have to select user, and then below you have to select the personal details here, and then you have to select the respective region. If you see here, demographic, national identifier, biographic, disability, there are different section. If you want to restrict certain attributes on certain section, that section you have to select here. And then in case if you wanted to hide section, okay, if you wanted to hide something on biographic information, or if you don't want to see, I mean you don't want to see the disability information anywhere in the organization, just make it as invisible, not visible, so that it will be hidden for entire organization. Or if you want to restrict it for specific legal employer, specific country, then you have to select the country over here. In case if you wanted to do anything on biographic information or disability information section or demographic information section, this is a place where you have to come and then select the respective section. So if you want to hide gender, so simply go here, and if you want to make it as a not if you want to make it as a required, just make it as a required here. And then in case if you want to hide this field marital status, simply go and make as not visible. And then if you want to restrict it to only specific country, so this is the area you have to select it. That's how you have to create the rule. So whenever you are creating any rule, the key point that you should keep in your mind is, in order to satisfy your requirement, whatever the requirement that you come across, so what action you should use, that is the important. So you have to select the action first, and then you have to create the rule. So this is going to play a key role. If you wanted to restrict something on salary page or so on my spotlight page, then you have to use the skills and qualification. If you wanted to restrict something on under my team compensation, on compensation field you have certain actions. So there, if you wanted to restrict certain actions, like if you go here under my team, so if you click on my team, if you go to compensation, so you have different actions over here. If you want to hide any action here, then you have to make use of this section, this action code. So you have to go and explore these options. So I just shown you the way how to use them, and I have explained you one of the hypothetical requirement which is useful, I think, for everyone. That's all about HCM Experience Design Studio. Hope you understand these three, how to use them. In case if you have any question on these actions, if you come across any business requirement, you are welcome to ping me. You can post your comment so that I will reply back to you which action will be used for what. Okay, that's all for the day. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.